Meanwhile, the Zenith Labour Party wants some political parties to withdraw from the governorship election as the litigations over the mismanagement of the nomination of their candidates could adversely affect the outcome of the polls.
We use this opportunity to call on the PDP, the APGA, and the APC for the interest of Anambra State to withdraw from the November 6 poll. The reasons are simple for all discerning people. Litany of litigations here and there, faulty nomination processes. We don't have too much time in Anambra State. And nobody is God. But there are certain things you can predict.
One party, we have one national chairman. We don't have two state chairman. We have only one.
Well, we are joined now by INEC's National Commissioner, Information and Voter Education Committee Chair, Festus Okoye. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Let me just begin by saying I do not envy you and the position you are. I recall weeks ago, you said the only place INEC doesn't have a court order from over the Anambra forthcoming election is the ECOWAS court.
Exactly.
And I'm wondering, has that situation changed? Do you have something from ECOWAS court now? But seriously speaking, what do you think we're dealing with here? Is this judicial rascality, or have the political parties turned the courts to the ultimate electoral umpire, taking the job from you?
I think that the political parties are engaged in forum shopping. They are looking for a safe forum, an appropriate forum, a vulnerable forum where they can procure court orders, and that's exactly what we are dealing with. Because the election involved will take place in Anambra State, but there are cases filed in Jigawa State, there are cases filed in Imo, there are cases filed in Delta, there are cases filed in Bauchi, and there are cases filed in Oyo State in relation to an election that will take place in Anambra State. So some of the candidates and some of the political parties are plainly engaged in forum shopping.
Well, like my colleague said there, when you walked in, I just said, I don't want to be in your shoes.
Yes.
But I guess you have the capacity to handle that. Well, your list rather, for those contesting for the Anambra elections is out, but court cases are still flying left, right, and center, like you pointed out now. Where does INEC finally stand, with the list as it is now? You brought back Soludo in. So where do you stand? We want to know.
No, what we did today was in compliance with Section 35 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. The Section 35 gives political parties and candidates in the election an opportunity to withdraw their candidature if they so wish, at least 45 days to the conduct of an election. But Section 35 makes it mandatory that before a candidate can withdraw, the candidate must withdraw personally in writing to the political party that nominated him. And then that particular political party will now file a fresh nomination with the Independent National Electoral Commission. Other than withdrawal voluntarily by a candidate that has been nominated, no other person can withdraw except in cases of death. You can only replace a candidate who has passed on. But other than that, you cannot replace any candidate except the candidate voluntarily withdraws within a particular time frame and within the timetable and schedule of activities rolled out by the Independent National Electoral Commission. So the list you saw today relates to the political parties that either changed their governorship candidates or changed their deputy governorship candidates or changed both. The only exception in that particular list relates to the All Progressive Grand Alliance that the governorship candidate and the deputy governorship candidate had to change based on our processes and also based on the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Oka Judicial Division.
We do understand there's an October 7 deadline, and you are at the mercy of the courts as it stands with all these political parties shopping forum, as you put it. Are we likely to see last-minute changes before October 7, what's the time frame for what can happen? What is likely to happen between now and October 7? What window are you giving to the political parties?
Well, you know, the period for the conduct of party primaries has elapsed.
Yes.
So no political party can conduct fresh party primaries. The period for the nomination of candidates has elapsed. So no fresh nomination can come in. The period for the withdrawal of candidates has also elapsed. So no fresh withdrawal can take place. The only thing that can take place is if there is a court order from a superior court of record directing the commission to take certain actions or to act in a certain way. That is the only way we can effect any other change in relation to some of the nominated candidates. Because under Section 287 of the Constitution, the Independent National Electoral Commission, as a public trust, is bound to give effect to judgments of course of record, especially judgments of the Federal High Court, the High Court and the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, and that of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court.
All right. Two quick questions. One may not be very quick, but PDP has no candidate in your list. That's one. Why? We would like to know. Then secondly, where do you stand with the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021, not yet law, and the issue of electoral transmission? Would that probably hinder your workings? I don't know.
Well, on the first issue, at the close of nomination, the PDP as a political party uploaded the name of a particular candidate to our nomination portal. And that was the name of the candidate that the commission published as the candidate of the party. Then thereafter, there was a court order saying that the PDP should submit the name of another candidate other than the one that had been published. So we couldn't obey that order because that order, for us to obey it, is dependent on the PDP submitting the name of the candidate. The PDP did not submit the name of the candidate. Then thereafter, there was a Court of Appeal ruling that we should stay action on the publication of any name pending the hearing and determination of appeal filed by one of the political parties. So the moment that appeal is determined, then we will take action in relation to who the proper candidate of the party is. So that's why you cannot see us publishing the name of any candidate. But you can see PDP as a political party, but there won't be any name based on the order of the court.
The second question.
On the second question, you know, the Senate passed a different version and the House of Representatives passed a different version. So both houses will meet at a committee level and harmonize their position. So when they harmonize their position, we will know where we stand. But we have made our position very, very clear that we have the capacity to transmit election results in real time.
You want to ask me?
I think that's all we can take.
I just wanted to add just seconds. You're called independent, and you've been going on with the technology. Why didn't you just go on with transmitting of results without having taken recourse to the National Assembly? Maybe in just 5 seconds, if you can. Well,
you know, our elections are based on processes and procedures, and there are what has been called step-by-step a collation of results, and this step-by-step collation of results are based on a manual process, and unless we amend the law to also give us the leeway to transmit results electronically, we may have a challenge in terms of what is acceptable as evidence in court.
All right.
Mr. Festus Okoye, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
I do appreciate your time.